No matter where you focus your attention on in terms of SEO this year, make sure these 5 things I'm going to talk about are at the top of your list. My name is Gert. I'm the founder of SEOleverage.com, an SEO agency with more than 25 team members, expert SEOs with many years of experience, where we apply the ERICA framework we have developed over the years. If you want to check it out, head over to SEOleverage.com. By the way, subscribing to this channel is not only going to help you to get regular SEO tips, but it's also going to help us keep and maintain these kinds of information for free available. Let's dive right in. I'm going to give you the 5 tips and also why I think these are so important and why I'm going to put our own attention on our own internal projects exactly there. Tip number 1, topical relevance. Think about it. Google has so much content that it could actually show. Whenever you type in a search query, you see how many search results approximately they fetch the information from. So why should Google actually care about what you have to say? One thing where it really comes down to being an expert about your topic is topical relevance. You really want to be able to back up the information you have with more related information. A few years back, this meant to create monster long articles, 8,000 words, 10,000 words was nothing rare because it just simply worked. But these days, we definitely want to have the same depth, but across different pages and well structured on your website. So if you have one topic you want to be known for, you want to be found for, you want to divide this up into several chunks and you want to have those articles about those subtopics or questions or different angles be internally linked together into a so-called content silo. So Google can easily understand how these pieces of content are related because one piece is going to link to the other one. And this way, Google just has more context. Ultimately, machine learning depends a lot on context, and we need to give the machine more context to learn from. And by making sure that you have several pieces of content on your site about the same topic, similar topic, not the same search intent, but a similar topic, Google is going to understand that you really know your stuff around this topic and is going to rank your article. Very often when I see clients not being able to rank their articles is because they just have one single article about a topic on their site and there is nothing Google could relate this article to. It's like me on SEOleverage.com tomorrow talking about gardening or carpentry or whatever. We really don't have any other content to back this up. Google is not going to trust us as much because there are a lot of other sites who completely focus on that and Google can recognize that they know what they are talking about. Tip number 2, content layout. And this is something my clients have known for quite some time already. We have been focusing on this for a few years. We really want to rethink the structure of a piece of content and really try to think about the moment when somebody clicks on a search result, comes to your website, what is it that they actually want to see? They want to see that they are on the right site. They want to see that this overall makes a serious impression. Hint about design there. And they would definitely want to make sure that this is the page that's going to solve what they came to search for. So this would be the so-called search task accomplishment. People type in a search query because they want to accomplish a task. And they need to absolutely be sure right at the top of our article, even if this is a 5,000 words long article, right at the top we want to make sure that they know that they have come to the right place and they know how to find what they are looking for. Part of this is usually these days a table of contents. Think about for how long Wikipedia had a clickable index on top where you could just click on history, on sources, on references, on polemic or whatever it is. And you could just jump to those sections. Websites haven't adopted this too much until recent years actually. But it's ultimately the best user experience you can provide. You confirm people that they're on the right place, you give them the table of contents so they can choose to directly jump to the section they're interested in, and this might just be one paragraph of the entire article. Google, whenever they can, are going to try to jump people directly to this section if this is enabled on your website. If they can't, they're still going to send them to the top, but the table of contents is going to help them greatly in order to jump directly to the section they're actually interested in. Why is this important? Because user experience matters. Google wants to make users happy, users coming to a website and figuring out that this is what they're looking for and not spending endless amounts of time finding or scrolling around, clicking around to find what they actually wanted from search. are going to be happier. There are going to be fewer people heading back to Google and clicking on another result, which is ultimately a user experience signal Google is definitely going to pay attention to. Tip number 3, link equity. People in our ongoing consulting program where we apply the ERICA framework, or also clients of our recent site audits, already know this. We create a so-called link equity report. What does this mean? It's a report of all URLs where we check where does the link choose come from, the authority, the page rank, however you want to call it. Where does it come into your site from external sites, and how does it get distributed across your different pages? And this is really important because Google at its heart is an algorithm. It's an algorithm that's trying to do its math and its calculations in order to figure things out. And Google, since the very early stages, had this algorithm called PageRank, where one page was giving authority to another one. And it's very likely that this is still happening, and we see results by optimizing for these kinds of things. So we want to make sure that we pay attention to where this equity, this authority comes into the site and how it gets distributed. I had a client the other day who had the strongest site they had in terms of link equity, had 500 different links on it. So every link is going to only get a small portion of this link equity coming in. Whereas if you direct this link equity well, you can really strengthen your key pages, your pillar pages maybe on your website, and just make sure that Google recognizes those as really, really important, and also processes a lot of this authority that's coming in a way that one page linking to the other can really mean a certain significance. So why is this important? Google is an algorithm and is doing a lot of math apart from trying to understand your content to understand how much authority should be assigned to every piece of content. What about these first 3 tips? Is everything clear? Do you think you can start implementing them today? Let me know down in the comments what you think about them. Let's continue with tip number 4, structured data markup. This has been a theme for a while, but I still see many websites not implementing this properly. This goes back to what I said initially about helping the algorithm, the machine, to actually make sense of the content, because we kind of have this feeling that Google understands everything we write about and they just get it, but it's not the case. The machine needs to really see what kind of entities, what kind of topics is this talking about, how are they related, which words relate them, etc. And then it's going to understand only a fraction of the text they actually process. With structured markup, we have a so-called schema markup very often, where this is just a structured, machine understandable way of defining certain things. So imagine you have an article that talks about a book. There is a markup that can tell Google who is the author, what's the title, what's the ISBN number, and things like those. If this is a podcast episode, we have structured markup for podcasts. If this is a person we describe or a guest on our podcast show, we could even describe this with the so-called person markup. Also, the about page on a personal brand website is really good for this. There are markups for recipes. If you type in a certain recipe into Google, you're going to see that search results look differently. Why? Because Google is able to extract this machine understandable data and present it and process it in a very different way. So you want to think about what can be possibly a structured piece of information on an article you want to rank, and make sure that you add the so-called structured markup to it. Why is this important? Because Google needs to better understand your content in order to differentiate from others, in order to establish better content between one article and the other one that you link together, for example, on your site. And this is going to put you in a much better position when it comes to ranking that article on search. By the way, if you want to have SEO tips on a regular basis in your YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. Tip number 5, link building is still a thing. Link building, I think it's probably going to quickly be called digital PR more than anything else, because Google really talks less and less about link building, but it's just still a thing. It's still a thing because Google at its core focuses on links, on authority, on how authority comes from one page to the other one. And ultimately, link building isn't just naturally happening in any industry. So you're not going to be a law firm and automatically attract tons and tons of links from other websites pointing to yours. This is just not happening, but it's still something that works very well for SEO, but you want to do it with a purpose, with context, and in a most natural way as possible. And what this means is that you want to establish this direct content. You don't want to purchase your links from lists. You want to establish this direct contact to webmasters, to other site owners. Make sure they are really specific for your niche. You don't have to create 20, 30, 50 different links every month with a normal sized website. It might be okay if you have 1 or 2 links every month, but if they are, as long as they are really coming from someone who is relevant for your industry, and if you get them to publish a blog post or an article, or you can maybe guest author something or be a guest on their show, find some sort of arrangement so they essentially link to your website in a context of an endorsement and cite you as one of the authorities in your industry. This is really doing miracles for rankings very often. We see a lot of clients get stuck somewhere maybe on at the end of page 1 or somewhere on page 2 and nothing is really moving. We have done everything on the technical SEO side, on the content side, on site, etc. And it's really the links that move the needles, because if your competitors have a lot of links pointing to their articles and you have 1 or 2 or none, it just tells Google that there's nobody in this industry who would be relevant backing you up or endorsing you versus a lot of other people endorsing your competitors. And there are only so many spaces on page 1 you can opt for. So definitely make sure that the gap between you and your competitors isn't link-based. If it is link-based, you are going to need to find those links in order to get the ranking happening. Now there you have it. These 5 tips I would definitely have on top of your task list this year, because they are going to definitely impact what your SEO is going to do throughout the course of 2022. If you have any questions about them, drop them down in the comments, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up to help us out if you like these kinds of videos, and we're going to produce more about them. If you would like to get some more tips, tricks and advice around SEO, content and business, productivity, these are the things I really like to talk about, head over to my Instagram or TikTok, which is on the screen, and just connect with me there. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Gert. Head over to seoleverage.com to get in touch with us.